Hey everyone, this is Chiwei from One Dog Wolf. Today I thought I'd take a few minutes to go through a C2C project from start to finish with you, and this will help you see what I do, what my thought processes are as I move through a C2C square, I guess. So we're going to be making, I don't know, just this coaster, I guess it can turn out to be, and it's red, white, and blue because July 4th is coming up. So I'm going to go through step by step. You'll be able to see the color changes, any mistakes I made, what I'm thinking about, and I'll try to walk you through all of that. All right, so let's get started. You can see the graph here that I drew out. It's blue on the outside, kind of like a target, I guess. So I have all my colors set up on my bobbin holder that I made. So it's really just yarn on a bunch of dowels, and I have my yarn set up as well. So let's get started. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, there's little arrows here. This is going to tell me which direction I'm going in, and it kind of helps me just kind of keep track of which squares I've already made. Okay, so we're going to start on the first blue square. So 3 chain, pinch, 3 more chain, and double crochet into the 4th chain from hook, double crochet again, double crochet again. You can see the yarn is worsted weight. It's Michaels Loops and Threads Impeccables, and I'm using Clover USA 5.5 millimeter, which is, it says I on it. Okay, so that was our first square, first row. So that's 3 more chain, pinch, 3. So yes, you're gonna see every mistake I make as well. Double, double, double. Okay. Let's pull out some more yarn. Okay, so now we have first 2 squares. We want to flip one up, insert hook into the chain 3 space, make a slip stitch, chain 2, work 3 double crochets into the chain space, and that's our first 2 rows created. Okay, so you can see that's, we finished this square, we finished this square and this square. So now we're going to go up, and we're going to do a blue and then a white and a blue, and this is kind of where you have to start making a decision. You know you have a blue, you have to switch to a white, and you could carry the blue up, or you can start a new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new blue sign here, because if you see as we come down, I'm not going to drag my blue through 2 white tiles. So I'm going to work my blue, add in a white, and then add in a new blue. So 3, 3, double, double, double. Okay, so now instead of going through and pulling up blue, I'm going to pull up a white. And I have my white right here on my bobbin. Chain 2. And now I'm going to hold the white in the back, but I'm not going to carry the blue. 1, 2, 3. So that's our first white square. And then now I'm going to do blue, but I'm not going to use the blue that I already had before. I'm actually going to pull up a new blue. This is where the bobbin starts getting handy. Insert into the chain space, pull up a blue, slip stitch, chain 2, and then work 3 double crochets. I'm working it over the tail, which is just one less step when I have to weave in. Okay, so now you can see we've finished row 3. We've gone up, white, blue. So now we're going to come down. So this is a down arrow. We're going to do a blue, 2 whites, and another blue. And we have all of our active yarns here, so that's pretty easy. So we're just going to continue on. 3, pinch, 3, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. Okay, now we do, you can tell when we flip that all the yarn kind of flips over, but then all you have to remember is to flip back in the right direction. Okay, so now we do 2 whites, insert into the chain space, pull the white up, slip stitch, chain 2, 3 double crochets, one more white, let's get some more white, insert into the chain space, slip stitch, chain 2. I like folding the little bit down just so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, so we're done with the white for that row. Now we have the blue that was active. So we insert into the chain space and pull up a blue for our slip stitch, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Okay, and the white can be pulled tight. All right, so that is the end of row 4. So we have come down 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're on the whitest row, which will be blue, white, and then we're going to add in a red tile. So now there's a decision of, should I cut my white yarn and start a new one, or should I try to drag it through? I know if I carry my white yarn through, it's going to show on the red tile, but I kind of found this little trick that I like to use. Because there's white also coming down, what I'm going to do is do the white, and then I'm going to kind of wrap the white around the red tile, work the red, work the white with the same one, and then hope that the next row will cover up the white yarn that I've kind of pulled loose. So I think it's probably easier just to show you. All right, so we do 3, 3, 3. I guess that's pretty easy to remember. If you want smaller squares, some people also do half double crochets as well. You can see the yarn is a bit tangled. What we're going to do is just kind of untangle it. There, now we're all back to normal. Okay. All right, so this is moving upwards. So we've done the first blue square. We need to pull in a white into a slip stitch, chain 2, get more yarn, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. Okay, so we've done the white, we've done the blue, and now we're going to add in a red. I'm going to leave the white down here actually. I'm not going to carry it through. I'm going to take my red. It's one tile, so I don't need a ton. I have found that if I use an eye hook, the sizes are, this is probably about 3/4 to 1 inch square each tile. So 2 tiles is, if I measure yarn from my fingertips to the opposite shoulder, that's about enough for 2 squares. I don't know if that'll help, but sometimes when you're counting squares, it's nice to kind of estimate how much yarn you're going to need. All right, so we pull up red, chain 2, three double crochet, okay, so the red is actually done. So I'm actually going to cut this just so it doesn't get in the way, leaving enough of a tail to weave in, and I'm done with my red, and I can drop that bobbin. So here I want to do white. The white was all the way down at the bottom, so what I'm actually going to do is pull the white kind of around, and you can, what I'm going to do is kind of go around this red tile. So I'm going to leave it pretty loose. Right now it looks tight, and I'm going to loosen it up. So on the back here, you can see, let's loosen this up a little bit. Okay, so this way, if it goes around the red tile, it'll be captured by the white on the next row down. And then we work the square as usual. Okay, and then the last tile is blue. So insert into the chain space, slip stitch, chain 2, 3 double crochets. All right, so this is row 5. So we went up, up, up with the red, white, and blue. Okay, coming back down, we're not going to be increasing anymore. We're going to start decreasing. So I'm going to show you how to decrease. We're going to come down. This is a down here with a blue. So what I do, and it's kind of up to you whether you want to do a chain here or not a chain. I like doing a chain, and it gives me a little bit more flexibility. So I made a chain, and then I turned, and then I'm going to work slip stitches into the tops. 1, 2 slip stitches, and then I'm going to work in a slip stitch into the chain space that I made before, and then you can continue with your square. So chain 2, 3 double crochets. And we'll go through that again as we continue decreasing. Okay, so that was the square. Now we move into white. And there's going to be a white square, white, slip stitch, chain 2, chain 2. Okay, so now there's going to be, we did this square, and now we have this square. So one more white, but here, because I have this white yarn that was carried from last time, I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to work around it to hide it. So I'm going to insert my hook into the chain space of the red square with the white kind of tucked in. and then make a slip stitch. So you can kind of see it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's gonna disappear. It's much better than having a string of white just right across the red. And then for each one of these double crochets, I'm going to work around that white that I'm trying to carry. Okay, so those are the two whites, and then we move into the blue. The bobbins, the yarn is getting a little bit tangled, and we can straighten that out at the end of the row. So insert, pull up a blue, chain 2, double crochet, 2, 3. And then you're going to slip stitch into this chain space right here, and that completes that row. So what we've done is we've done the blue and the white. We've worked around the white that was kind of pulled up here, and then we finished with the blue. Okay, so next we're going to go upwards. We're going to do blue, white, blue, which is the last white square, which is awesome. Let's see if we need to change our yarn up a little bit. And what's awesome about the bobbin is if it gets really confusing like this, I can just remove a bobbin, move it around however I need it to move around. Let's see. And then put it back in. So now we're straight again. Okay, this one is a little bit weird. It's okay. Oh, I know why. I overdid it. Stitch. I like to do a chain again, and then you flip, and then you're going to work slip stitches across. I found that if I can't really find it, it's not a huge deal because in the end I'm going to work a round of single crochets all around to even it out. And then you're going to join into the chain space with a slip stitch, chain 2, work your square, okay, then finish off the white square, white, and then finish with the blue square. Blue. So that was chain 2, 3 double crochets. Okay, and then you join to the chain space with a slip stitch. Okay, so that was this white, blue. You're done with the white, so you can cut your yarn. So you're done with the white, done with the red. And here, actually, if you think about it, you're going to be coming down. Oops. You're going to be coming down this way. So you're going to be using this blue, but you're no longer going to be using this blue because the blue that is active on my hook right now is going to be the next 3 squares. So technically you could cut this one as well, and that just kind of cleans up all your ends. So you're done with the blue bobbin, you're done with the red bobbin, you're done with the white bobbin. Now you just have this little blue one left. And this is going to be pretty simple at the end. So again, I like to chain, turn around, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip join, slip stitch into the chain 2 space, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Let's get enough yarn. Join with a slip stitch, chain 2, work my square, join into the chain space with a slip stitch, chain 1, turn, and now that you turn, because you only have one bobbin, turning becomes much easier. So slip stitch, join with a slip stitch, get more yarn again, chain 2, this is going to be your last square. 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm going to join into the chain stitch with a slip stitch, and I'm done. Let me think. So, yeah, I'm just going to cut. I'm going to weave in and fasten off, and your square is complete. You can see there's, little bits that are loose, but those are just your ends, so you can clean those up. And now you have all these fun ends to weave in. Okay, and then what I like to do, if I'm going to make this into a blanket, even just as it is as a coaster, the edges are not great, I guess. They're not super straight. So what I like to do is actually start a standing single crochet and then actually work single crochets all the way around. So I'm going to take my hook, start with a knot. I like to pick the join between 2 squares. So either any of these will work. Let's just work right here. This is a join, and then I'm going to work a standing single crochet. Okay, let's do that again. So I have this on my hook. I want to insert, I want to pull over and complete a single crochet. So there it is. And then what I like to do is each of these squares I'm going to put 3 stitches in. So this is actually the 3rd stitch of the previous square. In this square I'm going to do 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here, and then 1 stitch at the interval, I guess. And then same thing for this square. It's a little bit tough, so sometimes I just, insert wherever I can. 1, 2, and then the interval is the 3rd. The corners, again, get a little difficult, and I usually just fudge it. 1, 2, and then I just got to pick. So that's my 3rd. Chain 2 to create the corner, and then this is another side of the square. So again, I have to put 2 and then 1 into the interval. And I'm kind of working into the same space, but so be it. 2, and then into the interval. Okay, so again, 1, 2, and then working into this interval. And this interval is kind of chunky. I'm just going to work all the way around it. So you can see it's starting to even out with the SCs all around. Okay, let's continue. 1, 2. Is that? Nope, that was wrong. That was my 3rd spot. 2. 1, 2, 3. Let's do another corner because corners are interesting. So we do 1, 2. You have to force the third because that's what makes everything even. So I'm going to force the third into this little space here. Chain 2 for the corner, and then you come around, and then that's your 3, 2, 1. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So you're going to keep working around and then all the way around, and you're going to join to your first slip stitch, and then it's complete. Then all you have left is to turn it around and weave in all the ends. Again, I have a separate video that shows how I weave in ends, but I like weaving into these clusters of double crochets because I find that's, the heftiest piece, and if I work through it about 3 or 4 times, it holds pretty well. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. You saw how I think, how I work through, how I use my bobbin, how I make mistakes, and how I never have enough yarn on hand. All right, and if you have any more questions or if you like more project ideas, you can always visit my blog at onedogwolf.com, or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you.